So I'm doing a video on the covered bridge that used to be in Salem, Alabama, and it was damaged in a storm, and they moved it over here to Opelika, over here to the municipal park. They used the old bridge to build this one. It was a little smaller, but anyway, I'm gonna take you over here and let you see it. It's also a ghost story that goes along with it. I'm gonna be letting you know what the story is behind the several ghosts that were associated with this bridge in Salem, and supposedly there's one that followed the bridge here. So anyway, check it out. Salem Shotwell Covered Bridge. This is the last surviving covered bridge in Lee County. It was constructed about 1900 by Otto Hulse over Wakuchi Creek in the town's lattice truss design. Materials used in the 75-foot long bridge included longleaf heart pine, white oak pegs, and cedar shakes. Maintained by the Lee County Commission and Lee County Historical Society, the bridge stood until June 2005 when it was damaged by a storm and collapsed into the creek. It was rescued by John Ross and a number of other volunteers from Lee County and placed in storage until it could be reassembled and relocated. Its original location was in the N1/2 of Section 26, Township 19 North, Range 28 East. This is the case of the Salem Shotwell Bridge. Legends sprang up in the early years, fueled by the superstitious locals of spirits of Indians who had drowned in the creek, reached up and grabbing those crossing the bridge at night, pulling them into the water. Clearly a way of motivating people to stay off the roads after dark. However, more tales revolved about their bridge in the early 1960s, one involving a high school girl who asked her prom date to meet her at the old bridge for a late night rendezvous. Her date never showed, and the rejection was too much to bear. The girl hanged herself from the rafters of the old bridge in her prom gown. Before the bridge was removed from its original location, it wasn't uncommon for high school kids to venture out to the Salem Shotwell Covered Bridge to try to catch a glimpse of the hanging girl or to provoke the native spirits of the creek. Later, another ghostly tale of a horrific car crash would come to light. Allegedly, a woman was driving her car on Lee Road 252 when the bridge was still intact. It was late at night and very dark on the old dirt road. It was raining heavily and the dirt quickly turned to mud and became slick. When the woman rounded the curve at the Salem Shotwell Bridge, she lost control of the car and went over the side of the embankment, crashing into the creek below. This ghostly woman has been seen wandering the creek banks and has even startled would-be campers in the area with her terrible cries for help. It is said that her ghost drifts just above the water of the shallow creek, accompanied by the smell of burning flesh. Along with the legend of the woman who allegedly crashed her car, sprang up the tale of a child who was apparently killed in the accident as well. The ghost boy was seen occasionally on the bridge, and frequently people would hear or would leave small gifts and toys for him. For many years, it was a teenage tradition, or perhaps a morbid curiosity, to travel out to the old bridge and hold seances in an effort to try to contact the ghost of the Salem Shotwell Covered Bridge. But once the bridge was destroyed by the storm in 2005 and removed from Salem, the legends and rumors about the ghost all but died out. A few other legends sprang up over the years, but one has followed the bridge from its original location in Salem to its new home in the municipal park in Opelika. The original bridge was more than 70 feet long, and most of the salvaged material from the bridge was used to reconstruct it in the municipal park. Although its length has been shortened by several feet, not long after the reconstruction of the bridge, reports started to resurface about a ghostly child who wandered the little bridge. Workers reported something that sounded like a barefoot child running once the foundation of the bridge had been completed. Also, the ghostly laugh of a youngster and someone who would frequently whisper in the ears of volunteers, "Come play with me," were enough to startle several members of the community. The ghost boy has been seen in the small constructed house also made from the remains of the old Salem Shotwell Bridge. He has been seen on the playground equipment and even playing with other children from frequent Opelika Municipal Park with their families during the weekends. Since it's not uncommon for most children to make new friends at the park, most parents overlook the imaginative ramblings of their little ones, who tell of the barefoot little boy who plays alongside them and their friends. However, one parent took it upon himself to investigate the claims when his daughter came to him and told him she was playing with the little boy near the bridge. When she described the little boy to her father, she informed him that the little boy was barefooted and wanted to play in the water. The young girl's father had told her not to get into the water since the weather on that cool January day was very chilly. He was a bit concerned that the child was without a parent and barefoot in the water, so he walked with his daughter over to the bridge to find the young boy. As the father and daughter walked through the park, an eerie silence swept through the trees. All manner of life seemed to stop just before they came over the smaller bridge that connected the opposite side of the playground to the area where the Salem Shotwell Bridge sat. While the little girl's father overlooked the odd silence, his daughter spoke up and said, "There he is, Daddy," pointing towards the replica of the Salem Shotwell Bridge. Her father looked, and to his surprise, he saw nothing. He asked her again where the boy was, and once again she pointed and, with a slight giggle, said, "Just there, Daddy, under the bridge." The man looked again and saw nothing. There was no one there, just the trickle of a shallow creek. The father and daughter made their way up the hill and looked over the opposite side of the bridge. It was empty. The man looked down at his young daughter and said, "I guess he's gone home." The little girl just shrugged her shoulders, and they turned to cross the road in front of the bridge to make their way to their car in the parking lot just a few yards away. As they stood in front of the bridge, looking carefully both ways to cross the street, a small childlike voice came from behind them. "Come play with me," it said with a ghostly giggle. Suddenly the sound of little feet came toward them. As the father stood listening in disbelief, his daughter said, "See, Daddy, he hasn't gone home," she laughed. "He was hiding from you the whole time." Startled and shocked, the father worked hard to maintain his composure. He could hear but could not see the young boy his daughter had described. In a composed but internally frantic state, he gathered his daughter and quickly made his way to their car. Today, the park is active and full of families and events put on by the city, birthday parties, and even train rides. Children still play near the replica of the Salem Shotwell Bridge, unaware that a real haunting makes a residence here. A seemingly innocent afternoon can turn into a ghostly experience at Municipal Park. Should the little barefoot boy of the old Salem Shotwell Bridge take a liking to his living playmates, your relaxing day at the park could turn into the experience of a lifetime. Well, that's the bridge, and that's the story behind it. Pretty cool. I'm glad they preserve stuff like this. Well, until next time.